afternoon and welcome to the Tameside Reporter Sports Show. I'm your host Tom Gregan and I'm joined as always by our resident sports reporter Mark Phillip. Mark, you okay?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. Yourself?
Not so bad. Are you recovering from yesterday?
Yeah, just about. Sore hamstrings today, sore calves, but it was all worth it.
Well, Mark ran the opening event of the Tour of Tameside last night, the Cross Trail 10k, and we'll be talking about that shortly. But first, we'll talk about boxing and Hyde boxer Stacey Copeland, who faces her first professional boxing fight tonight. She's been training at Hatton's gym in Hyde, and Mark went along earlier this week to see how she's getting on.
Well, as you can see, we're in the boxing area at Hatton Gym in Hyde, where we're about to speak to Stacey Copeland, who's making her professional debut at Bowlers Exhibition Centre in Manchester on Friday.
It's been great. I mean, I'm really happy in the camp that I'm part of. I train here at Ricky Hatton's gym in Hyde with Blaine Eunice, my trainer, who, it's just clicked right from the beginning, and I just absolutely love training with him, and he's really brought me on loads. He's a great coach, great person, so I'm really fortunate in that way, because for me that's pretty much the most important person in your career really. But also obviously there's Lee Sharpie Oldham here, who's from just up the road in Hurst Cross, and Luke Evans have just joined us. So we've got like a really good positive team. We're all working hard, and it's just everyone bounces off each other and stuff. So really fortunate to be part of a great team at the minute, really. Fantastic stuff. And you mentioned Ricky Hatton then, and there's plenty of pictures of him around the gym. Does that provide an extra source of inspiration for you? I think so. I mean, because he's obviously local, he was just one of us and still is, and went on to achieve great things. So I think, obviously you can't not be inspired by that. So certainly because he's in our sport too, and from our town, it's that absolutely is an inspiration. Yeah. One, I needed a new challenge, and I needed something big to come back from that injury, because I put a huge amount of weight on, obviously lost a lot of fitness, and I knew it'd take some really big goals and something that I really wanted to get me back. So that's the first half, and the other half equally as motivating for me is to pave the way for others to be the role model that wasn't there in women's boxing when I was a kid, because they didn't exist because it was illegal for us, but also to by me pursuing this dream that, like I say, wasn't a reality as a child. Hopefully, like the saying goes, if you can see it, you can be it. I can inspire other girls and women into the things that they want to do, and boys and men for that matter, to show that if you, as we say, if you do really want something and work hard, it can happen. And then you just put everything into it and see where it goes then, don't you? So yeah, those are my two motivations. Fantastic stuff. Now, you mentioned role models then, and your father must be a role model, former boxer himself. How supportive has he been? I mean, my dad's been a massive part of it, because he was my amateur coach throughout all my amateur career, and fortunately for me, he wasn't just a good boxer, he's a great person and a great dad. So he's been a top corner man to have throughout my life, and he's been a huge support, and he gives me advice, when I ask for it, not usually without asking, because he likes me to find my own way and that. So, but whenever I ask, he's there with advice and obviously sharing the benefit of his experience. So it's great for me.
Well, Stacey's not the only fighter who's competing this weekend. We've also got Lee Oldham, who's looking to make it 6 wins from 6 on Saturday night.
For this one, 7 weeks, but I fought a week before I started the camp for this fight, and then I was in training for 6-7 weeks for that one. So really, it's just been like a rolling motion really. One fight after the other this year, 3 fights. It'll be this one. It'll be 3rd fight of the year. It's a bit of a grueling sport, you've got to put the hard work in to get anywhere. So typically, I mean, I work full time as well, so I come in here from work, and on a Monday we'll probably get about 8 or 10 bags or pads with Blaine, with strength conditioning work. It's probably about 2 hours, 2.5 hours in all that we're training for, but it's always a bit tough. Like, I boxed from being 11, so I've always had loads of sport growing up behind me, but I think as I got older, boxing's one of them sports where you're more on your own, you're not relying on anyone else, it's just you and your hard work that gets you places.
So Mark, Stacey, really looking forward to tonight. She's top of the bill at the Bowlers Exhibition Centre in Trafford, and she's had to overcome a lot to get to where she is now.
Yeah, she certainly has. She suffered a serious leg injury about a year and a half ago, went in for an operation, suffered some serious chemical burn to her leg. I know that put her out of action for a long time. So to come back, to make the step up to the professional ranks, unbelievable achievement, and me and you both wish her the best of luck.
Of course we do. Good luck to Stacey in that fight tonight. Well, it's time now to talk about the Tour of Tameside. Mark, as we mentioned earlier, you ran the Cross Trail 10k last night, the opening event of the weekend. What was your time? How did you get on?
I think it was 42.43, came 60th out of about 458 on the evening.
Must be very proud.
Yeah, I'm proud of myself, because the furthest I'd run in the lead up to that event was about 4 miles, and of course a 10k 6 miles, so I was lagging when we got to about 4 or 5 miles, but I managed to overcome it, and yeah, like you say, very pleased.
Well, tonight sees the Hell on the Fell take place, starting from Walkerwood Reservoir and ending at Active Copley. And Mark, a lot of people say this is the toughest event of the Tour of Tameside. Why is that?
Without a doubt, because I think 4 miles of it is just completely uphill. I mean, it really is steep. It's on such a high gradient.
We drove up it before, didn't we, just to show people how bad it is. So is it just a gruelling event?
It's a gruelling event because there seems to be no let up at all. I mean, for the last mile you do come down and make the descent into Staley Bridge, but for 4 or 5 miles it's just a steady decline, and anyone that takes part in that tonight, whether you're an elite runner or a complete beginner, massive respect.
Well, good luck to everyone running the Hell on the Fell tonight. Don't forget, Tameside Radio are bringing you live coverage of all the Tour of Tameside events, including the Hero Half Marathon tomorrow and the Ron Hill Hyde 7 to end the Tour of Tameside on Sunday. Tonight's coverage of the Hell on the Fell gets underway at 6 o'clock.